Hey family, how you doing? I have a quick question for you. As you can see on the screen here, what does a godly marriage look like? I know we're here, it's a redeem your marriage, but this is a question I don't think a lot of people have an idea. I think we've made up what we think it's going to look like, and we've kind of just ran with it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. I think a lot of us want to have a great marriage, but what's your standard? What's the measurement that you're trying to achieve? Everything else in life, we pursue a goal and we kind of know what the finish line looks like, right? But what does it look like in your marriage? What should it look like? So I'm gonna share a few things with you today. Hopefully this will give you some insight and be helpful. So first of all, before we go and see what it looks like, we got to go back to see what did God originally create? What was God's original plan? And that's where I'm going to start, right? And so we go back to Genesis 1:27, where God creates man. Okay, he created man, or we call it mankind, but he only created one man. Okay. And then he says in Genesis 2:18, he says, it's not good for man to be alone. So man had a need. And that obviously that need was for companionship. It's okay. So God see he has a need. So okay, God said, I'm gonna create a solution. Okay. Now he created woman in Genesis 2:22. Okay. So he separated woman out of man and brought her to him. And yes, that was now the new look. God's plan for marriage was for woman to meet man's need and man to meet woman's need. Now, you notice I have the needs there because in reality, if you think about it, if man that was created had a need and he took woman out, man, she would have been created with the same need. He didn't go back to the ground and create a new creature because, you could say, create someone new so they don't have that need. No, she came out of Adam. So whatever Adam possessed, she possessed. So she had the same need. And because they both had the same need, it was a great way to meet that need, right? That need for companionship. They both got their needs met. Because now she had a companion, he had a companion. Okay. Ultimately, that was marriage. Okay. All right. So marriage was created and both needs were met in Genesis 2:25. Now, needs is a really important subject. You don't hear much about it, but the reality is we all have needs. Okay. And if you think about it, whenever there's a problem with relationships, what do you always hear people say? Oh, my needs weren't being met. I don't feel like my needs being met, right? And if you look at this is Maslow's hierarchy of need. And he scientifically broke down all the needs we have. And if you look at this, you'll notice one thing here, which is interesting. Man had that one need, and God saw that man had that need, right? And if you look at the list, you can see there's the needs that God provides is everything outside love and belong. Okay. Love and belonging is one of those needs that we have to meet each other's needs. Now, if you think about it, okay, Adam's need was met by Eve, Eve's need was met by Adam. Now, back up. God, in essence, could have chose to meet that need, right? But his solution was to have us have companions. So here's the ultimate in marriage. Okay, this is it. Genesis 2:25. And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed. That's the statement that God settled off in Genesis 2. He's saying this was it. They were both naked, they were unashamed. So both of their needs were being met. They were happy. There was no sin in the world. Things was good. Okay. That's the original creation. But I want you to take a look at the word naked because this will help describe the environment it was. They were not in clothing. We all knew that, right? But what I want you to point out is the emotional side of it. They were defenseless. Okay. There was no defending of each other when you look at that word. They were unprotected. Okay, there was no need to protect themselves. Okay, they were totally exposed. They're plain simple. It was just the naked realities. In other words, there were complete openness and vulnerability between both the man and the woman. And that was the ultimate in a relationship. And guess what? That's what we've all been striving for. And we still haven't gotten there yet. I'm gonna let it go right there and you can think about that. But this is the ultimate. Now I should say something else. Total defenseless and total exposed, okay, to their spouse. And guess what? You can't have total intimacy without defenseless and exposed, being exposed. You want intimacy in your relationship? Unfortunately, it comes with being willing to expose who you are and to be free to express who you truly are, what you're feeling. Without that, you will not achieve the intimacy that you want to see. So I want to leave it there. I'm not going to talk about shame, but it's important for you to understand there was no shame. Okay. And my next video, I'll talk about the next part of this. But I want you to see this is what God created. And this is the ultimate in relationships. And we are today still trying to go back to the point where we can experience that open and that vulnerableness with our spouse, where we can be ourselves and not feel judged, not feel hate, looked down on. Where basically you don't have shame, where you don't feel shame. That's what we're striving for. Anyway, thanks. It's been great talking to you. Hopefully, this has been helpful. All right.